investment team's main function is to organize the chaos between location, product, and the customer experience while working with our teammates in operations, facilities, construction, and design. The life cycle of investment is really twofold. There's the initial phase, which is a renovation where you're transforming the space, both the units and the amenities. And then an investment actually transitions to a stabilized operating property. When we walk into new floor plans for an asset that we could potentially acquire, we're looking at how can we reconfigure that floor plan to create a better residential experience. We think about the resident's point of view and every attribute of putting together a business plan for a new investment, including the transformation process of the renovation. Over the course of my career, walking new investments, trying to figure out how to put business plans together, we always had the construction guy with us, or maybe ops and facilities. But design was always thought of after we bought the asset. Not anymore.
We, as the designers, are responsible for taking each of our properties and creating a new space that allows our residents to enjoy amenities as well as living. We like to work with the DIs, the Directors of Investments, to make this happen. So our main goal is to create a cohesive space between each part, starting from the moment that you drive into the property to the moment that you walk into a model and see where you want to live in the future. The fact that we now have product development in-house and we're designing things that are used on a daily basis and making them better allows our teams to have longer lasting faucets, longer lasting sinks. So we're in the middle of it trying to create product that works best for a multifamily use. We run about 90 days to 60 days prior to closing. So once an investor has a property in mind, we would come in with them as soon as possible to kind of walk through the space, kind of generate a checklist of where we think things would need to be added into the scope of work or taken out of the scope of work. Design does drive a better living experience for the residents because of the new space that's provided to them. It allows them to feel like they're moving into a new space that is higher end. It allows them to feel more comfortable at their home, at their residence, and it allows them to enjoy things that they might not have had before when we bring in new amenities. So overall, what we're doing for the resident is allowing them a better space to live. We as a design team work really hard to make sure that the furniture that we choose is going to last for some time. We do work on furniture that people would want to see on a daily basis in their apartment and that they can afford. So we're not going outside of the cost and not allowing the resident to be able to come in and see themselves in the space. But we also do like to pick things and design things that kind of stand out and allow the resident to say, wow, this is so great. I love this color. I love these drapes. I love these pillows. There's several wow factors that we create through this entire process that make us successful as a design team. What sets us apart from our competitors is the fact that we have everything under one roof, and this allows us to be quick and efficient and successful at what we do. Once the design team lays out its plans and design, we then pass it off to CI to execute our design intent.
Well, our team participates at a number of stages. So we have a pre-construction team that really helps the investments team and design team develop a program. We have an iterative design and cost exercise that leads into material purchasing, that leads into site mobilization, and ultimately physical construction. Construction is a series of details and problem solving. So the better the details, the fewer the problems. Our supply chain was a very important sort of early decision we made as a firm, to go to the absolute bottom of the supply chain. We work directly with manufacturers. Through that process, we get high quality products, controlled pricing, controlled quality, and our designers actually get to impact what the actual fixtures and finishes are that go into a unit. So Cask was the branding of that supply chain. So today, our warehousing consists of 7 large facilities. One of them is personally operated by Cask. The balance are in third-party relationships in various key markets that we're in. But moreover, they receive all of our products directly from our manufacturers. They inventory, and then they kit them to the projects. That relieves a lot of the stress from the on-site parking and theft potentially, or other dynamics that happen with having bulk material stored on a property. So a kit, it contains every piece that you need to finish the unit. So the workers on site will do demolition, they'll prepare drywall, they'll paint the unit, and then it becomes ready to receive a kit. The kit arrives and it has cabinets, flooring, lighting, tile, every finished good is delivered to the unit. The crews will come back in and execute that work in approximately 7 days, and then we have a finished unit that's ready for occupancy. Now, we're very different than the traditional market. Lots of people can turn a unit in 30 days. The challenge is turning big numbers every month in every 30 days. Our approach is that we will aspire to turn 20 to 50 on an asset every single month. And the resident involvement is very important. We often think about defining what their expectations are as soon as possible. Every site is a little different. You know, the residents might have different aspirations in one project than the next. So our operations teams helps us define that early on, and then they keep our quality high by performing inspections and accepting the product.
When the construction improvements team goes through and they actually have completed the renovation, by that point, you've already had the design team come in and add the design elements, and then it comes over to operations. And that's where our teams of professionals in the office and our service and facility teams really have to step up to the plate. That begins with taking a 360-degree view of what the customer sees. So when we receive a unit back from the renovations team, we look at the outside of the door from the customer experience, the breezeway, the hallway, everything. We take that interior. So when we step inside this home, you are walking in. You walk along the right side of the wall, you continue on that, and then you don't miss anything. You're going to go through the living room, you're going to look, oh wow, there's the patio door, and you see the slider. Wow, is the slider door and the bottom of it clean? It's about the small details. When you look at the kitchen, is it a kitchen that you look at and you say, wow? If you touch that granite or that laminate countertop, do you feel grit or is it clean? When I look at a range, it's about taking the racks out of the oven and looking at the bottom of them to make sure they're clean. I can't tell you the importance of a refrigerator. I always will pull the gasket aside and look at it. And then we come to one of my favorite parts, which is the bathtub and shower. You have to really look at the base of the shower. Does it have molding? Is it clean? And after I've looked at the shower head, I actually will reach up and feel the top of the tile where it comes together with the sheetrock. The reason for that is I want to know that it's clean. Cleanliness always is free, and there's never an excuse for it not to be. You know, our customers, they're touchers, they're feelers. They want to see themselves living in that home, and it's up to us to make sure that it meets the standards. When you look at the function of the operations team at Cortland, it really encompasses everything that touches the customer. We look and we're responsible for overseeing all of the customer functions, the customer relations, and that starts with the community itself. Everything from the curb appeal, the attention to detail, to making the residents feel special, to our facilities team that takes care of the resident needs. And then it's up to us, our service facilities team, our community team, to hold those folks accountable for that resident experience.
You know, most people think that facilities just inherits the product after design, investments, CI, or operations has done their part, but we're actually working in tandem with them to make sure not only is the product sexy and it's leasable, but it also is something that's easy to maintain and is more efficient for the team. We actually have several different departments. So we manage the pest control, we manage the landscaping, we manage the in-house valet trash, we manage our risk management program. And so facilities is much more than just maintaining the assets or taking care of the buildings that we buy. Look, at Cortland, it's all about the experience, and that experience comes from paying attention to the details. So it starts for us in facilities when we do a turn. Every turn gets a minimum of 125-point inspection. And then throughout the life cycle of that resident, we may go in that unit 2, 3, 4 times a year to make sure that everything is operating as efficient as it possibly can. There's a rule of thumb when it comes to preventive maintenance. For every dollar you spend on preventive maintenance, you save $5 in operating costs. Doing the right thing on the front end to prevent the damage is going to save you on the back end. So what should we look for when we go out on a site? You know, one of the common things that we see all the time are gutters with leaves in them. They're blocked, When the water starts coming out of the gutters, it just starts destroying the wood. And eventually that water is going to drain down to the ground, and any moisture around the foundation of a building is catastrophic. That invites termites, which can lead to a tremendous expense that we all want to avoid. So it's not as simple as, oh, I see that, I'll get that another day. We need to take care of that immediately. Every day when you walk through the community, put yourself in the residents' shoes. Walk through the fitness center, walk through the clubhouse, see what they see. So we talked about the importance of preventive maintenance, but let's talk about how it impacts investments. So if you do a proper preventive maintenance program, it will reduce your operating costs over time. Everyone understands that the value of an asset is determined by your NOI, and NOI is driven by your income minus your operating costs. So everything you can do to help drive those costs down is what's going to increase the value of the asset.
Once the renovation is complete, we need to take care of these communities as if they were our own home. Everything needs to be perfect, and every detail matters. The first impression starts before you even enter the community. What does the landscaping look like? What's the first building they see? As they turn in, does the front door look crisp? Is there future resident parking available, or is it all filled with golf carts and other cars? One of the first details I always look at is the barbecue grills. Is it been cleaned? Is it disgusting? Because as a customer walking up to grill my family's dinner, I want a grill that's ready to go. And as an investor, I look at that as saying, hey, is this property really maintained well? Or are there some details that are sort of cut short? You need to be excited about what's going on here and how can I be a part of it? Whether it's a customer thinking, is this a home? Or this is an investor saying, wow, this is a great business. This is a commercial property. When they go on that leasing tour, that tour path has to hit every note harmoniously. They need to be able to see that the community is taken care of. They need to see and start to envision themselves living there all the way up until they get into the model unit. Now, our units are fantastic. We renovate these communities as a whole, but the units especially, fully transformed. So when they walk in the door, I'm confident that that unit is going to hit every expectation of our customer, and it's important that we share all the small details design has come up with in these homes so they can really appreciate that this is a Cortland community. At the very end of that leasing tour, you sort of naturally congregate in the kitchen. The easiest thing to look at in the kitchen is the fridge, and they open that refrigerator door and they say, wow, it's filled with fun things, treats, drinks, a wow freezer is perhaps the most exciting part. And then if there's some children with them, everyone gets a snack. That gives the leasing team another 10 minutes, 5 minutes of real sales, where there's a relaxed customer who's enjoying a refreshment and the leasing can continue. And all we need is 5 more minutes to close the deal. For the investment team, you may think it's all about raising capital and making profits, but it's actually about the customer experience. Because only with happy customers can we make happy investors.
All about our residents.
It's all about our service.
It's all about better living.
It's all about our communities.
It is all about the details.